Okay, today I'm doing some soil samples from around the yard, and we're testing to see what kind of soil mixture we have, and we're trying to find our better mixture of something to grow the plants in. Because what we had done was we relied on, and just because we just didn't have any other stuff coming in, we had to make more of our own, but we bought some commercially available organic compost, and when we put this in, our plants just aren't growing like we think they should. And we've put some plants over in just regular old soil that we thought was poor, and they're growing the same plants planted at the same time from seeds in the same mixture, so on and so forth, and they're growing just fine. So we're concerned that this stuff is just not doing very well for us. So this is the direct droppings from the guinea pigs that the worms have churned through. So we're going to see how that turns out here in a little bit. This one is, which one is this? Oh, this is our compost directly from our organic compost. And then this one is, what do I got here? Oh, this is some dirt, some topsoil that we got from the college, and we're actually using a lot of that for fill. So we're looking at what we can, maybe we'll want to use this instead. And then here we've got this is from our back garden where stuff is really growing, and we know it's growing well. And so I'm trying to figure out what they're doing there, because it's not my garden, it's their garden, and what they're doing there that everything's growing so well with. So we're trying to figure all that out. So what we've done here is we brought in about 3/4 of where the water is here on each one of them. So about half on some of these jars or whatever, but put in several scoops in mix from around the whatever we were pulling it from, and got 5 or 6 good big teaspoons full, maybe a little bit more than that, and then filled them on up with water and then gave them a real good shake. And I've set them up here on the counter, and so we're going to wait. You can start to see actually some distinct levels already, but I want to wait until tomorrow, because you really ought to wait about 24 hours to let this thing really settle. And you can see that this one has settled pretty quickly. You can see that the water is clearing. This one has settled very quickly, which, not surprisingly, it's supposed to be good compost, and it's got a layer of more clear water here, which that's a pretty good sign. But I want to see what kind of levels of stuff we've got, and so far we haven't quite settled in any of these. So we can see some starting to layer a little bit, but I want to measure these tomorrow. So we'll be able to come back tomorrow and work on this video a little more, and we'll see with the results. I've let this sit for about a day, and these are really cleared down quite a bit. So I wanted to go through here and see what the results are. Now I'm using a flashlight over here. As you can see, I got a flashlight in my hand to help show those differences, and I've moved these jars into a different location because the lighting was a little bit better in here. So anyway, this is what we've come up with, and it's really interesting. As you can see here, we've got 2 different layers, actually 3. There, the one layer is really small, but we've got 3 layers, and I'll put the light to the top of that one, and then there's the second one, and that third one's real tiny, and that's the same on all of these samples. And that shows that we have a very low clay content in all of our things. Well, that's fine to not have too much clay. You don't want to have real clay soil, heavy clay soil, because it will just retain all the water, and that's fine, except that you drown your plants. So having a low clay content, I think, is better than having a high clay content. And we've just got to look at our sand content. And all of these are in the realm of what's known as sandy loam soil. Now we've got one that's sandy silt, which is this one. and that's the worm compost that is after it's been with the guinea pigs. So it's kind of expected to be not a whole lot of sand in there, but it just says that we can mix that in with our with a sand and or clay, and it would be just fine for making better soil. So this is the compost we bought commercially, and this one I'm very concerned with because about 40% of the top is, I mean, the stuff that's at the top, you can see through it, so you can tell where that level is. Again, I'll put the light right about to the top of that. And it's about 40% of the entire material that's in there. The rest of this is just water, and it all floats. So that's just junk. I don't know what it is, but I'm not happy about it, and I don't want to buy something that's going to be 40% lighter than water material. I don't know what you call that. So I'm not too thrilled with that. This is our, like I said, our worm compost, so it's pretty good. The only thing I'm concerned with that is that it's not black. I mean, this is very, very black, but that's, I think we believe it's all from cow manure, is what we think this is coming from. And so this being brown, well, we know exactly where it comes from, so I'd rather have that. Color's not as important as knowing where it comes from. This is our compost out of from our organic waste, and we get a real nice mixture in that as well. So we're happy with that. And interestingly enough, the two of these are just pretty much the same. And the reason that this has more of that silt layer, organic matter, we would expect it to be because that's just compost. And this one is coming out of our back garden, which I kind of kept wanting to say, oh, it's bad soil, but it's not really. However, they've been adding a lot of our compost to it, and so I think that's why we're seeing this mixture that's pretty close to the same, but it's not quite as heavy in the nutrients middle range there. So we'll see how that goes. But it's just saying we're doing a good job with that soil. Now this is the stuff that came from the university. As you can see, it's real gray looking, not real brown or nutritive looking at all. And I think it's just because it's been in a pasture that they haven't really worked. And so they've not added any nutrients and not had any animals out there or anything. It's just kind of sitting out there with grass on it. So I think that's why. And I think that by adding our compost in here, we can improve that very, very well. So that's the results of our quick soil sample from 5 different soils that we had in our garden. You might want to go look at how many you got. I mean, are you buying premium compost or premium soil mix or something like that? Well, you might want to try this sample and see if there's a lot of gunk in there, and know what you're paying for and understand what soil you're putting and where you're putting your plants, because that's what's really important. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and we'll see you later on some more videos.